It's late. You're sitting on the edge of your bed, phone in your hand, staring at a message you don't want to answer. Someone needs something from you again. A favor. A ride. Your time. Your energy. The last piece of you that you were saving for yourself. You type, "Sure, no problem," before your mind even catches up. You hit send. You drop the phone face down on the blanket and exhale a breath you didn't know you were holding. That small moment, that quiet little yes, is doing something to you that no one ever warned you about. And tonight, I want to tell you exactly what it is. Your eyes are on this video for a reason. Subscribe now, and I'll show you what's really happening inside you every time you say yes when your whole body is screaming no. There was a woman I once knew. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah was the kind of person everyone loved. She remembered birthdays. She showed up to every wedding, every funeral, every baby shower. She answered her phone at midnight when a friend was crying. She covered shifts at work. She drove her cousin to the airport at 4 in the morning. She listened to her mother complain about the same problems for 20 years without ever interrupting. People called her an angel. They said she had the biggest heart in the room. They said the world needed more people like her. But one day, Sarah sat in her car in a grocery store parking lot and cried for 40 minutes. She didn't know why. She just couldn't get out. She couldn't push the cart. She couldn't smile at the cashier. She couldn't be the angel anymore. She thought something was wrong with her. She thought she was broken. She thought maybe she was being ungrateful or weak or selfish for feeling this tired. But nothing was wrong with Sarah. Sarah had simply spent so many years saying yes that her soul had run out of room to breathe. And maybe, somewhere deep down, you already know that feeling. You see, every time you say yes to something you don't want, you're not just giving away your time. You're giving away a small piece of who you are, a tiny piece of your truth, a small slice of your honesty. You think it's harmless? You think it's just being nice? You think it's just keeping the peace? But your body keeps a record. Your nervous system writes it all down. And every yes that should have been a no leaves a little weight behind, like a stone dropped quietly into a well. After enough years, that well gets heavy. So heavy you can feel it in your chest when you wake up in the morning. So heavy you can feel it behind your eyes when someone asks you for one more thing. Save this video. You will want to come back to it on the days you feel that weight pressing down on you again. Here's the truth no one taught you. Your no is sacred. Your no is the fence around the garden of who you are. Without that fence, anything and anyone can walk in and trample the flowers you've been quietly trying to grow. When you stop saying no, you stop protecting yourself. And slowly, without even noticing, you start to disappear. You become a shape that other people pour their needs into. You become a function instead of a person. You become useful instead of loved. And there's a difference between those two things. A massive, painful difference that most people never learn to see. Useful means people come to you when they need something. Loved means people come to you when they need nothing at all. Think about that for a moment. Think about the people in your life. Who comes to you only when something is required? And who comes to you just to hear your voice? That answer alone can change your whole life. There was a young man I'll call Daniel. He was the oldest of 4 kids. Growing up, he was told that he had to take care of his siblings. He had to help his mother. He had to be the strong one. He had to be the responsible one. He had to be the one who didn't complain. So Daniel learned to swallow his no. He learned that his needs came last. He learned that being loved meant being available. He learned that being good meant being silent. By the time Daniel was 30, he had a job he hated, a girlfriend who drained him, friends who only called when they needed money, and a body that ached for reasons doctors couldn't explain. He couldn't sleep. He couldn't relax. He felt angry all the time, but he didn't know why. Daniel wasn't sick. Daniel was carrying a lifetime of yeses that were never really his, and his soul was finally too tired to keep pretending. Maybe you know what that feels like. Maybe you felt it this week. Follow for more stories like this. Your heart needs to hear these truths more than once. Now here's something I want you to really understand. When you stop saying no, you don't just lose your time. You lose your taste for life. You lose your ability to know what you actually want, because saying no is how you learn who you are. Every no is a vote. Every no is a sentence in the story of your identity. Every no tells the world and tells yourself what you stand for, what you value, what you protect. Without that, you become a stranger inside your own skin. You walk through your days doing things you don't enjoy, with people you don't trust, in a life you don't recognize. And you can't even explain why, because everything looks fine from the outside. That's the cruelest part. The breaking happens in silence. The slow erosion of your soul happens behind a polite smile. You laugh at the joke you don't find funny. You attend the event you didn't want to go to. You agree with the opinion you secretly disagree with. You text back when you wanted to rest. You stay in the conversation when you wanted to walk away. And each one of those tiny betrayals adds up. Each one teaches your soul that it doesn't matter. Each one whispers, you don't count. Your voice doesn't count. Your peace doesn't count. Eventually you start to believe it. But here's the secret no one ever told you. The voice inside you that says no is not your enemy. It's not selfishness. It's not weakness. It's not laziness. It's not being a bad person. That voice is your soul trying to keep you alive. That voice is the most honest part of you. It knows things your mind hasn't figured out yet. It knows when something is wrong. It knows when someone is unsafe. It knows when a path will lead you somewhere dark. It knows when you've had enough. And when you ignore it long enough, it stops talking. That's when the real danger begins. Because a person who can't hear their own no becomes a person who can't find their own way home. Turn on notifications. The next part of this might be the most important thing you hear all week. Let me tell you what really happens to your soul when you stop saying no. It doesn't die all at once. It fades quietly, gently, like a candle in a windy room. First, you lose your spark. The things that used to excite you start to feel flat. Music doesn't hit the same. Food doesn't taste the same. Sunsets become background noise. You can't remember the last time you laughed so hard you cried. Then you lose your edges. You start agreeing with everyone. You can't tell where you end and where other people begin. Their moods become your moods. Their problems become your problems. Their disappointments feel like your fault. Then you lose your dreams. The plans you used to have for your life start to feel silly. Embarrassing even. Who were you to want something more? Who were you to think you deserved a different kind of life? Then you lose your trust in yourself. Because if you can't even say no to a coffee meeting, how could you ever trust yourself with anything big? How could you trust yourself with love, with money, with purpose, with peace? And finally, you lose your sense of being real. You become a ghost in your own life, going through the motions, saying the right things, smiling at the right times, but never truly there. This is what happens. This is the cost. And no one ever puts it on the receipt. Bookmark this video. You'll want to read these words again on the nights you forget who you are. But I didn't come here just to tell you the bad news. I came here to tell you something beautiful too. Your soul is patient. Your soul is forgiving. Your soul has been waiting for you to come back home, no matter how long you've been gone. And the moment you say your first real no, something incredible begins to happen. The candle flickers back to life. The spark returns, slowly, quietly, like the first light of morning sneaking through a window. You start to feel yourself again. You start to remember what you actually like, what you actually want, what you actually believe. It might start small. You say no to a phone call. You say no to a dinner you didn't want to attend. You say no to a project that would have stolen your weekend. You say no to a conversation that always leaves you feeling smaller. And after that first no, you brace yourself for the world to collapse. You wait for people to be angry. You wait for guilt to swallow you whole. You wait for some kind of punishment. But here's what actually happens. The world keeps spinning. The people who truly love you adjust. The ones who only used you for your yes show their true colors. And you, for the first time in maybe years, can finally breathe. That breath is the sound of your soul coming back. There was a woman I'll call Maya. For most of her life, Maya said yes to her sister. Every favor, every loan, every emotional crisis at midnight, every Christmas she didn't want to host, every family fight she was forced to mediate. One day, Maya said no, just once, to a small thing. Her sister exploded, called her selfish, called her cold, stopped speaking to her for 2 months. Maya was devastated. She thought she had ruined her family. She thought she had become the villain. She cried for weeks. But during those 2 months, something strange happened. Maya started sleeping through the night. Her stomach pains went away. She started painting again, something she hadn't done since she was 19. She started laughing more. She started feeling like a person instead of a service. When her sister finally came back, the relationship changed. Not in the way Maya feared, but in a way she had always wanted. Boundaries were respected. Conversations became real. Love became mutual instead of one-sided. That single no didn't destroy Maya's life. That single no saved it. Share this video with someone who has been carrying everyone else for too long. They need to hear this tonight. I want you to understand something deep now. When you start saying no, you're not becoming a cold person. You're becoming a real one. There is a difference between being kind and being captured. There is a difference between being generous and being drained. There is a difference between loving people and losing yourself for them. A kind person gives from their fullness. A captured person gives from their emptiness. A kind person says yes because they want to. A captured person says yes because they're afraid of what happens if they don't. If your yes is built on fear, it isn't really love. It's survival. And no soul was meant to live in survival mode forever. So when you finally say no, you're not abandoning the people who love you. You're showing them the real you. The you that has limits. The you that has needs. The you that has a heart that gets tired too. And the ones who can't handle the real you were never really loving you in the first place. They were loving your usefulness. There's a painful kind of freedom in finally seeing the difference. You might cry when you see it. That's okay. Those tears are old. Let them out. Here's something else I want you to hear. Your no doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be a fight. It doesn't have to be a dramatic speech. Sometimes your no is simply silence. Sometimes it's, I can't right now. Sometimes it's, let me think about it, and then never coming back to it. Sometimes it's leaving the room. Sometimes it's putting your phone down. Sometimes it's choosing yourself without explaining why to anyone. You don't owe the world a paragraph every time you protect your peace. You don't owe people a reason every time you choose to rest. You don't owe anyone an apology for being human. A no is a complete sentence. And the more you practice saying it, the more your soul remembers who it is. Stay with me. The next part is for the part of you that still feels guilty about all of this. Now listen closely, because I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but what about the people who really do need me? What about the family member who's struggling? What about the friend who's going through something hard? What about the job I can't afford to lose? What about all the people who depend on me? I hear you, and I want you to know, saying no doesn't mean abandoning the people you love. It means showing up for them as a whole person instead of as a hollow one. You can love your family and still rest. You can love your friends and still have nights to yourself. You can love your job and still go home on time. You can love your partner and still need silence. You can love your children and still need to close the door for 10 minutes and just breathe. Love is not measured by how much of yourself you destroy for someone else. Love is measured by how present you can be when you're with them. And you can't be present when you're empty. You can't pour from a cup that has nothing left. The most loving thing you can do for the people in your life is to take care of the person they're loving. That person is you. You are not a machine. You are not a service. You are a soul having a human experience, and that soul needs space to remember itself. There's a phrase I want you to carry with you from this night forward. Your no is how you keep your yes meaningful. Without no, your yes means nothing. It becomes automatic. It becomes a reflex. It becomes empty. But when you choose your no's wisely, your yeses become powerful, sacred, real. People know that when you say yes, you mean it. You're not doing it out of fear. You're not doing it out of guilt. You're doing it because you actually want to. That's when your relationships start to feel different. That's when your work starts to feel different. That's when your life starts to feel different. Because nothing in it is fake anymore. And that, my friend, is what it means to be alive. Comment below if this is hitting somewhere deep. I read what you write. Your words matter to me more than you know. Let me tell you what happens on the other side of all this. There's a version of you that's been waiting patiently, quietly, for years. That version of you knows what they want for dinner without checking what everyone else wants first. That version of you can sit alone in a cafe without scrolling through their phone to seem busy. That version of you can hear someone's request and pause before answering instead of agreeing on reflex. That version of you laughs honestly, cries honestly, loves honestly, walks away honestly when something doesn't feel right. That version of you is not a stranger. That version of you is the original you, the one before the world taught you to make yourself smaller, the one before you learned that your worth was tied to how useful you could be, the one before you forgot that you mattered just by existing. That version of you is still in there. They've been knocking on the door of your chest for years. Every time you feel that tightness in your throat when you're about to say yes to something you don't want, that's them. Every time you feel exhausted after a conversation, that's them. Every time you cry for no reason in your car, that's them. They're not broken. They're not weak. They're just tired of being ignored. And when you finally start saying no, you're not changing who you are. You're coming home to who you've always been. Your soul has been writing you letters your whole life. Most of us never opened them. We were too busy proving ourselves to people who would never be satisfied. We were too busy earning love that should have been free. We were too busy being good for everyone else that we forgot to be true to ourselves. But it's not too late. It's never too late. Your soul is waiting. It will wait as long as it has to. It will keep knocking. It will keep whispering. It will keep showing up in your dreams, in your tears, in your strange sadness on ordinary days. All you have to do is listen. All you have to do is start saying no to the things that are killing you so you can finally say yes to the things that bring you back to life. That's it. That's the whole secret. You were not born to be everything to everyone. You were born to be fully yourself for the few people who really see you. And the only way to find those people is to stop performing for the ones who don't. Let the wrong ones leave. Let the fake ones fade. Let the energy thieves walk away. Make room for the real ones. The honest ones. The ones who love your no as much as they love your yes. Those people exist. I promise you. But they can only find the real you. They can't find the version of you that's pretending. So stop pretending. Start being honest. Start being awake. Start being free. Your soul has been begging for this freedom for a long time. One last thing before I let you go tonight. The next time someone asks you for something and you feel that familiar tightness in your chest, pause. Just pause. Don't answer right away. Take one breath, then another. Ask yourself, is this yes coming from love or from fear? Is this yes something I'll be proud of tomorrow or something I'll resent by next week? Is this yes feeding my life or draining it? And if the answer is fear, if the answer is resentment, if the answer is drain, then let your no come out. Gently, quietly, with grace. But let it come, because you deserve a life that doesn't run you into the ground. You deserve a soul that gets to breathe. You deserve a heart that gets to rest. You deserve a body that doesn't feel tense every time the phone rings. You deserve relationships built on truth instead of performance. You deserve to be the person you were before the world taught you to be useful. And the only door to that life is the small, quiet, sacred word that you've been afraid to say for so long. No. Say it. Say it tonight. Say it tomorrow. Say it for the rest of your life when it needs to be said. And watch your soul slowly, gently, beautifully come back to you. If one person in this video reminded you of yourself, share it with them. Subscribe for more videos that speak the truth you need to hear.